Hi everyone, I hope you're well. What I wanted to talk about was symptom focus because particularly in, the community that I'm in of people who are offering advice, support in order to help you recover from anxiety and all related states, this idea that we should never focus on symptoms has become a bit of a topic that at least I'm hearing from my clients and is causing some confusion. So what should you do? Is it bad to focus on symptoms? Your heart rate, racing heart, your shallow breathing, palpitations, hot flushes, your derealization sensations, dizziness, tinnitus, whatever your symptoms might be or specific thoughts. Is it wrong to focus on them? Is that giving them too much attention, which often comes up, or what else should you do instead? So there's really two things that I want to cover off in order to show you where people go wrong, but also how to do it in what I call the right way. Now, if whatever you're doing is working, then just keep doing what you're doing. So often words mean different things to different people. If you've got something that works, please keep using it. If it's working, full stop. Everything I talk about is adaptable depending on what works for you, but it's all about whether or not you're ultimately allowing or resisting. So again, that's what I wanted to talk about today. There's two things to think about when you're thinking about the focus on symptoms, whether it's bad, whether it's good, or what to do to deal with them in the right way. So the first thing is what I find happens is that with good intention, often coaches, other people are telling those who are suffering to not focus on symptom, and it almost becomes a bit of this religion. Never focus on symptoms. It's bad to focus on symptoms. Just move on from them. Get on with life. Don't let anxiety take over your life. And it's kind of nice-ish to hear that, because that's what we were trying to do, right? You're not here listening to my channel or me or others perhaps so that you can suffer from anxiety forever. You do want to move on with your life. So the intention is nice in one sense. But the problem is if you move on too quickly, you're then maybe doing the opposite. It can become a bit of, I'm going to move on but through gritted teeth. Oh, there's that symptom again. There's the knots in the stomach. There's the dread in the stomach. There's the rumination symptoms. Okay, all right, I'll get back to work. I'll go to the gym. I'll walk the dog. I'll start cooking. I'll make a cup of tea in order to not focus on it. And so there is this emphasis on just moving on too quickly. So that is the biggest problem I see. People are moving on, but they're not really dealing with it. So they think they're moving on and they're allowing because they're not getting involved in it, they're not focusing on it, they don't want to give it more attention. But energetically, from an emotional perspective, a physical perspective, they're not dealing with the repercussion or the charge on those symptoms or the emotional charge that comes with those symptoms. So that's what we have to do. We can't just move on, push past it. I've done another video on, are you pushing past your symptoms? This comes up all the time in coaching because it's normal that we get into a habit because we start to get good at this. We don't fear anxiety as much, but we can then slip into just moving forward and pushing past it, going back almost into whole old habits because your confidence is going up. So again, the first thing is do not just move on too quickly. Because then what you have to do, which is the second point I wanted to make, is you have to still deal with the symptoms as they arise. So let's say I get a palpitation. I'll talk about that. That was one of my worst ones. I don't have to do this every single time perhaps, but we want to do it enough so that the nervous system is being trained or retrained in the right way. There it is, just a palpitation, just adrenaline. Slow down, go loose, stomach loose. And then you move on. Now, you might have done a 20-minute guided practice in the morning, so you've dealt with any and all symptoms that have arisen then. You might do a guided practice before you go to bed at night. There's some guided practices you can download from my website where I repeat the instructions over and over to help with that because it's not easy. But if you've done some resting guided practices, then you're more able to then do sort of mini resets on the go. There's another guided practice on how to practice on the go. on my website that you can download as well. But in terms of what we do, we have to deal with it. We have to go, oh, this is adrenaline, reset the body and slow down. Now, initially, if this is new to you, that takes a lot of extra effort and time. If we get good at it, we can then sort of stop doing it a bit and just push past. We can sort of go, oh, there it is again, and we can kind of start waiting for it to go, which is fine in the sense that we're not getting too involved in it. So our sensitization levels are not going up, but we're not really allowing it, so they're not going to go down either. So we can kind of get stuck a bit on our current sensitization levels because we're not focusing on it, but we're pushing past. Whereas what we want to do as often as possible is really allow, oh, that's right. I've been tense, I've been trying to move on too quickly. So I'm going to stop, slow down, go loose. And if you, as you're listening to this, realize you've been pushing past or moving on too quickly or being a little bit too blunt around the non-focus on symptoms, then you might have to be extra deliberate in terms of doing some extra deliberate resets. Okay, slow down. If you're only practicing on the go and you're not doing any practices where you're still and resting, you might need to start those back up because it's a lot harder to do it if we've been busy all the time to then do a more deliberate reset. So I hope that helps. We just don't want to move on too quickly from the symptoms, even though, yes, from a high level perspective, it's good to not focus on them. I'm not going to encourage you to sit there and listen to every heart palpitation, analyze it, go into it. Of course not. We do want to move forward from it, but we want to allow it, remind ourselves what it is, reset the body, retrain the body. It's not serious. So that will influence the mind and then move forward. I hope that makes sense. If you've got any questions, please let me know. Take care.